We'll still get out of here in pretty good order. We do want to move towards a segment relating to the K-12 structure, and you're going to hear from some folks that have model programs and have answers. So it's always great to have answers, and John Hellkamp has answers. You've been waiting for answers because Jim and I have been putting up questions and we've been admiring the problem, and John is going to give us the answers. John, principal at Sunset High
Well, thank you for the fictitious introduction. Again, my name is John Hellkamp. I have the privilege of serving as principal at Sunset High School. And to be honest, I feel like that tone-deaf kid who stumbled into choir practice and realized, what am I doing here? So I just want to be very upfront about the fact that my role is not to teach computer science, but I do think I have an important role with regard to the collective, cause and the collective potential in terms of impact on students. One of the things that really comes to mind for me is, you'll hear from Jason and Katie about some of what we're doing at Sunset, the fact that we're up to 3 full-time computer science, robotics, and engineering teachers, and you might be tempted to think, oh, that's great, that's where I want to be. When I hear that, I think to myself, wow, we have so far to go. The reality is we have 12 full-time equivalent teachers in mathematics at Sunset High School. So I would argue we are about 25% of where we need to be in computer science, robotics, and engineering. Because if, as a state, we allow ourselves to continue to think of computer science as this nice little extra that can benefit a small handful of kids who might happen to stumble onto it, we are continue to be lost. If, as a district or as a state, we think that we've made progress when a district identifies, okay, we're going to have a magnet computer science program. It is unthinkable for us in the Beaverton School District, for example, to say, Algebra 2 is nice, and we have found a couple of good Algebra 2 teachers, so we're going to place them over here at Westfield, and we now have 6 comprehensive high schools in the Beaverton School District, and we're going to bus the kids that happen to want to take Algebra 2, we're going to bus them over to Westfield so that they can access Algebra 2. Now let's give ourselves a big round of applause and say what a great job we're doing. It's unconscionable for us to think of that. The exact same is true for computer science, robotics, and engineering. The skills that our kids need moving forward are absolutely essential. It is criminal for us as educators to think that this is a nice extra. It is a core. Whether the state is willing to recognize it or not yet, it is a core. So I think what we really have to do is just accept that reality for ourselves as educators, commandeer the charge, and make it happen, and allow the state and the nation to catch up. I've gotten just to the point of absolute frustration of thinking, let's wait for the state to solve it. Let's wait for the districts to solve it. They're not going to. So we as individual schools and individual districts have to just recognize the obvious. I think part of our challenge is getting the truth out though. At Sunset High School, for example, we celebrate the fact that we were up to 76% graduation rate for Latino students, which is great improvement over the last 5 years from 52%, our starting point. But 76% is still an embarrassment. However, if you'll lend me your ear, if I talk to you about Latino students who have taken at least one course in technology, their graduation rate is 96%.
Yes.
And if I go to a COSA conference or I go to a gathering of administrators and I say, guess what, we have found the secret to getting your graduation rate for Latino students and all students to 96%, the room is full. It is absolutely full of bursting saying, what the heck are you doing? How do I figure out I've got to get to there? Because that 96% graduation rate is exactly what we owe to all of our kids. We have it. We have it in computer science, robotics, and technology, but we market it poorly. We drop the word computer in the title, and we scare off 90% of those administrators because they don't want their own inadequacies and ineptability in the field to become glaring. They're worried that when I sit in on that conference, someone's going to ask me, what is Arduino? And I'm going to panic and run for the door. So We have the knowledge, we have the information, we have the truth and the facts, but we can't get the audience in the room to hear them. So I think part of our challenge when I look to the Sherwood board, I'm jealous of the fact that you're here. But I charge you and challenge you to say, help get the word out. Because really that's where it has to come from. Because the boards, the administrators are the ones that tend to have access and control of the purse strings and have access and control to decisions about the use of APU. So that really, I think, is a great opportunity. But then when I go back to the messaging at a site, I think there is great opportunity, and this is going to sound odd, but I think our key is our 9th grade language arts and social studies teachers. Because they're the ones that have the ear of those very influential freshmen, and they're making their pathway decisions for the next 4 years. And for a 9th grade language arts teacher who has been able to connect with this group of kids, and that those teachers have access to all of our freshmen, for them to say, oh wow, you have a real gift for storytelling. I can't wait for you to get into Miss Year or Mr. Galbraith's class, because you're going to be able to develop your storytelling skills, and you might apply it to like a game design, which is just a story, and you're going to do the choose your own adventure, and you're going to marry that to graphic design and our game design class, and wow, you are just going to have a blast. And that's the type of messaging that we need to get through to all of our kids. If you fast forward at Sunset High School, the vast majority of our seniors do what we call PSA project, public service announcement. They do it through their language arts class. And these kids come forward with some incredible, tech-savvy presentations of messaging that they capture in 3 minutes or less. And we had a young lady just last June come forward to the administration to say, my PSA is on the fact that it is criminal that we do not have feminine hygiene products free and available for all students at Sunset High School. She presented it in a video format, presented it to we, the administration, and we now proudly and naively, that we hadn't done this before, it's a duh, hello. We provide that in every women's restroom, locker room, all of that, and it's a given. Because it's an absolute, it's a core, it's a must. Yes, of course we do that. Because she was able to use the power of messaging to get through to the thick administrators. But we finally got it, and we provided it. And now I'm getting all of these, compliments and questions from administrators. Our girls are over there for a game, and we heard you've got feminine hygiene products, and you're guess what? We do. Yes. And it would be like it's sliced bread. It's not. But for the PSA project, a prereq for that PSA project should be an introductory course in computer science, technology, and computing. Because we are reliant upon the fact that, our kids will go find it. Our kids will go develop the skills, they'll Google it, they'll figure out a way, they'll talk to their peers and they'll figure it out. It's not my job as teacher to give them some of the base skills that they're going to need to communicate in 2017. Yes, it is our job. So why don't we make it a prereq that those kids have to matriculate through in the early years in those initial introductory courses? And I guarantee we give them the taste and the tease. The question that came out earlier, well, what do we do about addressing that inequity in terms of gender? If it's a core, every student, regardless of gender, regardless of socioeconomic or racial background, is enrolled in that course. And when we get them there, we can keep them there. And when we can keep them there, we can open the doors to opportunity, and we can start flooding, these underserved, high-pay, living wage jobs with qualified students. So, I'm optimistic that at Sunset, we can go down that road, but I'm pessimistic about my belief that the state or even at our district level, and I love my district, but the answer is not going to come from there. The answer is going to be site-based, and then eventually people will catch wind of it, and they'll say, oh my gosh, we too should be offering feminine hygiene products. That's really what it is. My job as principal is to hire great people and get the hell out of their way. So that's what I emphasize and get the hell allow you to hear from people that know what they're talking about. So, okay, Jason?
Hey, thank you, John. So you go out, yeah, give him another hand. Girls Who Code Club out there from Sherwood High School, I'm going to assign to them to write a program, to write a program to create a virtual brain transplant from John to all the